Hi there, this is Tad Hargrave. Welcome to another edition of the YouTube Focus on Your Niche Marketing Coaching Series. And I'm really excited about this one. So what we've covered so far is sort of the groundwork in what the hell is your niche going to be, what criteria do you use, and what we've covered so far is really the information that you need to articulate your niche. And what we're going to look at is the idea of the niche statement of how do you articulate your niche in a single sentence. And my belief is that if you can't articulate who your niche is in a single sentence, albeit it may be a run-on sentence, if you can't do that, you actually don't even have a niche. You don't have a target market. So how do you do it? What's the sort of format to look at? This is the format I use. I actually got this from a guy named Robert Middleton, who has a website, actionplan.com, and I love his stuff. I recommend his website to you. He works specifically with service providers, helping them with their marketing. So I really sort of lifted this from him, but I think it's a very powerful way to articulate your niche. And the challenge is when I ask people, who is your target market, who's your niche, I get a lot of statements that talk about them as the business. They say, well, I help these kinds of people by doing this, or I help them to do this. And they start talking about the results they help them produce, the methodology they use. They talk about themselves and why they're so great as a business. And remember, they don't know your name. They're not glad you came. So what we're looking at here in the beginning is just who are these people that you're trying to identify. And there's really two parts to it. Again, if you look at, there's the two parts of the niche. One is the target and one is the problem. The target, who are these people? And the problem, what are they wrestling with? What are they, dealing with that you can help them with? So I invite people to look at it like this. I work with blank sorts of people who are dealing with. I work with blank kinds of people who are dealing with blank sorts of problems. So I work with blank kinds of people who are dealing with blank kinds of problems. And so again, what we're looking at sort of plugging in here is this is the target and this is the problem. I work with blank kinds of people dealing with blank kinds of problem. This is the core of learning to articulate this. So let me give you some examples, and you'll find a bunch of these examples in the notes, which at the end of this video you'll see a website you can go to where you can download a free 30-page virtual workshop all about your niche. And this is something I give out at my weekends, and I really think you're going to like this. So here's there's 38 real-life examples. There may be more by the time you look at it because I keep adding to it. So for me, I would say, so if somebody said, what is radical business? I'm not going to start talking about initially the results of what I do. The most important thing with this niche statement is when you say it, people need to know immediately, do I fit in this group? Is this relevant to me? Relevance is the first filter. Everything you ever do or say is going to be passed through by anybody, with business or otherwise. So when you say this niche statement, when you put your niche in a sentence and they say, well, what do you work with or who do you help? When you say it, they should know, bam, I'm either in this group or not. There should be no fuzz. There should be no ambiguity about that. They should know whether or not they're in it, and they should know whether or not they know somebody else who's in that group. It should be immediately apparent to them. So I would say for radical business, I work with kind of green, community-minded, holistic, conscious entrepreneurs or business owners who are struggling with their cash flow. They're not attracting enough clients. They have kind of mixed feelings about marketing, and they end up putting it off a lot because of that. And they just know they should handle it, but they never get around to it. So notice that doesn't say anything about me. I'm not talking about everything that I do for them, the results. I'm not talking about the methodology, and that's fine. There's a syntax to this stuff, and the first two things people need to know: who are you trying to help? What are the problems they're dealing with? So they can know if it's them or if it's anyone else they know. And what you find is, I'm not a big fan of the elevator pitch. You've probably gone to some of these horror shows that are business network marketing events, and they're just god-awful sometimes. And, you'll go to somebody will just come up to you and say, hello, what do you do? Just like a robot, they'll shake your hand, and then when you tell them what you do, and you ask them, well, what do you do? Their eyes roll up into the back of their heads, and for 30 seconds, they're gone. And they're just on this memorized elevator pitch. And it's really dehumanizing and kind of disconnecting. And irrelevant, often, a lot of the time. So when somebody asks you what you do, I'm just a big believer it should be folksy and just conversational, and just telling them, well, I work with these kinds of people dealing with these kinds of problems. I probably sound like a broken record, but I'm going to continue. So there was a massage therapist in Seattle. I work with people in the Seattle BDSM community who feel embarrassed when they have to go to a massage therapist because they have to explain the bite marks and bruises on their body. If you don't understand what the BDSM community is, watch some earlier videos of mine. Could be a website, Low Impact Living, which I recommend. What do they do? Well, we work with homeowners who want to become more green and energy efficient in their homes but feel totally lost and overwhelmed with where to even start on doing that. Unlockthegame.com is a website. We help salespeople who are in tremendous pain when it comes to selling. They hate doing it. They're secretly scared to pick up the phone. They hate being rejected, but they also hate using manipulative sales techniques that they were taught. They feel trapped because they need to make a living, but they can't find a way to sell that doesn't feel like they're selling out their integrity. A few more. Detox Hair Salon, website detox.ca. We work with chemically sensitive individuals who can't go to a regular salon due to the amount of chemicals used, and they feel so frustrated because they'd really love to get the salon treatment, but they can't. They've got nowhere to go. Give you one or two more. AutisticSpectrumConsulting.com. I'm Jackie McMillan in Kitchener. I work with highly sensitive people in Kitchener, Ontario who feel totally overwhelmed by sounds, smells, emotions, and pain in their life, and they're confused as to why. They don't know how to cope. They've hit a wall, and they're no longer willing to put up with the way things stand. And my last one, Divorced Women's Empowerment. I work with women in the Edmonton area who've gone through or are going through a painful divorce, and they're feeling a lot of pain and anger, and they're challenged about how to let those emotions go. A lot of these women feel like they've lost touch with who they are. They feel insecure, unattractive, they have low self-esteem. They often feel immobilized because they're so unsure about the next or the best step, what that might be. So, and that's Marge Aloisi. Her email, if you want to reach her, is maloisi, MALOISI, @shaw.ca. So those are some examples of how this works in real life, in a sentence. So the assignment for you is to take what you do and try to put it in this. Who are the people you work with? What are the problems they're dealing with? And again, at the end of this video, you'll see a link for a free PDF that you can download that'll help you work through this in more detail. So that's all for right now. Thanks for watching.